I'm going to share with you a story that up until now has only been one I have shared with close friends or family. But you need to hear this. It's time. I am hoping it will help you on your own journey of self-discovery. Several years ago, I was sitting in my front room watching television. It was a Sunday evening and my wife had taken an early night after putting the kids to bed. It was still light outside. I will never forget this. It's as clear as day. It was a huge turning point in my life. This particular event led to me looking in the most important place on earth. The most important place on earth for guidance. Up until this point, I had some major successes, earning me fortunes, but I kept losing the money again, over and over, and I always thought it was bad luck. Anyway, back to the story. I was sitting in my front room and my wife came downstairs crying. She was looking scared stiff. I asked her what's wrong. I keep hearing voices and seeing dark, horrible images when I close my eyes, she said. She said she felt as though someone was trying to take her away. She put her arms around me and gave me an almighty cuddle. I said to her, what do you want to do about this? She said she wanted to phone one of her friends that was a priest. So we phoned the priest and the priest came round our house. She put crosses up. She was sitting there dousing the house and whatever she was dousing it with. I was sitting there watching thinking, this is nuts. This is crazy. This is like something out of a film. I've never believed in God. I've never believed in the universe. I never believed in ghosts up until this point. Anyway, she doused the house, she put up the crosses, she spent a few hours talking to my wife and my wife calmed down and she went to bed. The next day, I went and spoke to one of my very good friends and I told him what happened. And he said to me, here's a telephone number, phone this lady, she'll be able to help. I phoned the telephone number and I tried to get hold of this lady. She lived in a place called Cheltenham. At the time, I was living in London. London was about a 2.5 hour drive away from Cheltenham. I tried to get hold of the lady, but she was busy. She phoned me back about an hour later. When she phoned me back, she said, what's wrong? I explained the story. She said to me, where do you live? I said, 316 Richmond Road. She said, hold on a minute. And then she asked me a question. She said, have you been knocking some walls down in the house? And I said, no, we actually rent the house, but the previous owner has built an extension. She said, there's an angry old man in your house. I thought, an angry old man? Okay, whatever. I said, well, what do you want me to do about this? What can we do about this? She said, listen, I'm going to ask him to go away. So to cut a long story short, we ended the conversation. I went back and I spoke to my wife. I said, Laura, I know I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but I phoned this lady and she reckons that there's an angry old man in our house. My wife turned around to me and said, yes, Jerry, I know, I've seen him. So I thought to myself, okay, two people. They live 130 miles apart, 2.5 hour drive. They've got no common friends. There's no way they could have possibly spoken to each other, but they're both telling me exactly the same thing. I thought there must be something to this. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I did past life regression with her for the next 7 years, twice or 3 times a week. I was hooked. What I came to realize, it was not the regression I was hooked on, but I started to understand myself like never before. I started to see the inner me, the real me, the me that controlled my life, and so much became clear. I have had so many signs in my life from the universe, but I didn't catch them or plainly ignored them. It took an angry old man from another dimension to come into my life and scare my wife to bits for me to finally wake up and do something about it. It triggered me to go on my own journey of self-discovery. And if it were not for that angry old man, my life would be very different. Whatever path you are on, you have to listen. You have to be aware. You have to ask questions. Don't be afraid to explore the unknown. Just do it. You have to truly understand who you are and what you are capable of before you can reach peace. Peace on the inside creates peace on the outside. Once I learned who Jerry Sargeant was, I understood my own life. why my life had turned out the way it had. And from that point forwards, it all changed. I would not change anything in my life. Every circumstance has helped me grow, shape or mold me. And I'm so grateful to the universe for absolutely everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you.